Have you ever dreamed of building an app that runs everywhere without having to learn a bunch of different programming languages? Well, if that's you, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to do a quick visual tour of how to get started with B4X, a toolset designed to make that dream a reality.
So what's the secret sauce? How do you really build one app for both Android and iOS, all from the same codebase? That's the big promise of B4X, and we're about to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by getting our environment all configured. Then we'll take a look at how a B4XPages project is structured. After that, the fun stuff begins. We'll jump into the Visual Designer, build an interface, and then see how it can magically adapt to different screens.
Okay, first things first. Before you can write a single line of code, we've got to make sure our tools are set up and ready to go. Think of it like laying a foundation before you build a house. Getting this right from the start makes everything else so much smoother.
Now here's the key thing to understand. Even though you're sharing code, each platform, B4A for Android, B for iOS, and B4J for desktop, has its own special IDE. It's kind of like having a specialized workshop for each type of project, and our first job is just to show each workshop where its tools are.
And the great news is, this process is super simple, and it's the same across all the IDEs. It's just 3 easy steps. You open the Tools menu, you click on Configure Paths, and then you just point it to a couple of important files. Let's see what that actually looks like.
And yep, there it is. In any of the B4X IDEs you open, you're just going to head straight for that Tools menu. That Configure Paths option right there is your first stop. Okay, so let's start with B4J, the one for desktop apps. It's going to ask for 2 main things. First is the path to Java C.exe. That's basically the Java compiler. It's the engine that turns the code you write into something a computer can actually run. And second, you'll see a spot for additional libraries.
Now, when we hop over to B4A for Android, things are going to look really familiar. It still needs that java.exe path, but there's one crucial addition. You also have to tell it where to find your android.jar file. That file is packed with all the core pieces of the Android OS.
And finally, for B4I, the one for iOS, there's another unique piece to the puzzle. You've got to point it to your Keys folder. If you remember from the installation, this is that special folder that holds all the security certificates and keys that Apple requires for iOS development. All right, with our environment all configured, we're ready to talk about the project structure itself. This is the blueprint, the scaffolding that B4X uses to keep everything organized and to make that cross-platform magic actually happen. And right at the heart of this system is something called B4XPages. So what is it? Well, it's a built-in library that solves a huge headache, managing how users move through your app. Think of it as the traffic controller, seamlessly directing people from one screen to the next, so you don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty details for each platform. You know what the best part is? You don't have to build this structure yourself. The moment you create a new B4XPages project, boom! The IDE just lays out this perfect, clean folder structure for you. It's ready to go right out of the box. Now, what's so cool about this structure is how it works. You've got these separate folders for B4A, B4I, and B4J, just in case you need to do something platform-specific. But this folder, this shared files folder, well, that's where the real magic happens. Your main code, your designs, your images, they all live here, and they're instantly shared across every single platform.
All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty with what's often the most fun part, actually building the user interface. We're going to dive right into the Visual Designer and see just how easy it is to create the look and feel of your app.
So here we are. We've just put together a really simple screen, a title up top, and 4 buttons arranged in a nice little grid. This is our starting point, our base design. And it looks pretty good for a phone that's being held upright, in portrait mode.
But here it is, the classic problem that gives developers nightmares. What happens when the user turns their phone sideways? Suddenly, our neat little grid of buttons doesn't look so great anymore. So, how do we fix this without writing a ton of code?
Well, B4X has this incredibly elegant solution for this exact problem, and it's a feature called variants. It's designed to let you handle all these different screen sizes and orientations in a purely visual way.
And check out how simple this is. Right inside the designer, you just tell it you want to create a new layout variant. You can pick from a list of common sizes, like a phone and landscape mode. You click OK, and just like that, you've got a blank canvas for your alternate layout. And here is the aha moment. On the left, you see our original portrait design. And on the right, that's our new landscape variant. We're using the exact same buttons and text. We've just rearranged them into a single row that fits that wider screen perfectly.
So let that sink in. You make one core design, and then you just create these different variants for other screen sizes. B4X does all the heavy lifting. It automatically figures out what kind of screen the user has and serves up the right layout. And the best part? Absolutely zero extra code required from you to make this happen.
And there you have it, a super quick tour of getting up and running with B4X. We've set up the environment, we understand the project structure, and we've seen just how powerful that visual designer is. Your entire setup is ready to go. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?